Hear those drums? Hear those drums, everybody? That means football season is coming around the corner. And it's my treat tonight to have one of the area's most successful coaches. He's been doing it for a long time. Head coach Lewis Cook of the Notre Dame Pioneers. And coach, last year I had the privilege of getting to join your team in the Dome, and I got to see the confetti, got to see all the guys with the trophies. Before we get into next season, how fantastic was it to be a part of what you guys did last year?
Yeah, it was sweet. You know, it always is when you have a chance to be playing on that last weekend of the season, and then obviously to finish it off the way that we did. And it was a really outstanding football team that we were up against with Riverside, and to watch our kids go out and perform the way they did, especially when we had to put ourselves in adverse positions early in the game with a fumble and a bad errant snap on a punt. But the kids were, just never – they were kind of on a mission. I could kind of tell from really the beginning of the season that they had one thing on their mind and had a really good group of seniors, and they were pretty determined to try to finish it that way, and I was happy for them that we were able to do that.
Yeah, Coach, I just remember being in the Dome with them and seeing just all those looks of joy. And you had some big pieces move on to go play ball collegiately. Of course, there's always senior turnover. Coaches always have to get used to that. Before we get into your team and what's ahead of them, I know coaches don't like to talk about themselves, so we'll spend the rest of the interview talking about your team. But first, about you. You've been doing this for a long time. What keeps you excited year in and year out about getting back in here with the team?
Well, it's something I guess obviously I always wanted to do. I'll be starting my 43rd year in football and as a coach, and every year it's always a challenge. I think the challenge of trying to put another team together, see how this team comes together and what we can do with this bunch. And it's funny, kids. Now we got a group of kids that were on the team last year that had to stand on the sideline and watch that last game, and now it's their turn. So they're excited, and so it's fun to be with them. And I got a good group around us at school. The coaches that I have, we've been together. Quite a few of them have been with me for a very long time, and my oldest son coaches with me, and we're just a support group that we have from my athletic secretary all the way through, make it easy for me. So, it's really not much of a burden to go to work every day. So I guess that's, part of the reason I'm still hanging in there.
Coach Cook of the Notre Dame Pioneers is my guest here. You are listening to The Cheap Seats here on ESPN 1420 and ESPN1420.com. I'm your host, RB, and Coach, it's my pleasure to have you on. But before we get into the season, I have a serious question for you. I know the floods have affected everyone in the Acadiana area. Is your team okay? Is your staff been affected? Is your field, is your facilities okay? How have you guys held up in the flood?
Right. Well, the facility's fine. The school here in Crowley made it through okay. The only thing right now is Crowley, now that the storm's over with, a lot of people are starting a recovery phase, and we're still in Crowley because of the Mermentau River and the tributaries that go into it are backing up now. So Crowley's in worse shape now than they were actually on Saturday when we had all the rain. So there's still a lot of kids that are having problems. Houses are still flooding here in Crowley. As far as rain goes, where I live, the water's is receded out now, and I know several of my coaches, I thought my house was going to be flooded, to be honest with you. It came right up to the edge and stopped at the right time. And, several others. But all the coaches, we all kept checking in with each other and made it through. We're out of school the whole week. We ended up having to cancel the scrimmage that we were supposed to have with St. Thomas More. And, so that's not going to happen on Thursday of this week when it was scheduled for. And I don't know that we'll practice. We probably won't practice until Monday. Like I said, we still have a lot of kids experiencing problems today. So I felt by Thursday, we may have enough guys that can get to school. So we're going to try to organize some groups and maybe try to help people, finish recovering from the things that have happened to them. I know several of them quite a few of my players, had a lot of water damage in their homes, and some of them we still can't get to. So that's why I'm hoping by Thursday we'll be able to get to them and maybe help them, recover from everything that's happened.
Yeah, and we'll get back to talking football, but I did want to mention that, and just that's a reminder to everybody that if there's any way you can help, any bit of manpower or ability you can help out, there are a lot of people that need a lot of help. Coach Cook of the Notre Dame Pios is our guest. Coach, I know that you guys are kind of paid almost to worry and look for the things that you need to fix with your team, but I'm going to ask you about what do you feel the most comfortable about with your team heading into 2016?
Well, I think, defensively we had just a great unit last year, but it was 10 seniors, and, we had one junior that started. Patrick Burley's our middle linebacker, and he's back. And I think that, the thing, that helps us a lot, even though we're just a 2A school, not that many students in the school, but we have a lot of kids that are always interested in wanting to participate in football. And that, like our defensive line, we lost all 4 starters on the defensive front, but we're going to start 4 seniors. So we're not going to be young. We're still going to have maturity, but we're going to be inexperienced. And, of course, we were fortunate, Tyler Shelvin was one of the top players in the country, had transferred over just after midterm. He was, things weren't going really well, and his family felt that it was time, for a change for him. And so he was here and did really well academically, came in with a few little problems, but very capable of doing it, and he proved it. And he did well the second semester and got himself eligible to go. And, of course, obviously the plug, that guy in the middle is special for anybody. And, we're fortunate that we were able to get him. So, with that being said, the front 7 on defense, we're going to actually start 6 seniors and a junior. So we'd like to think that once we get some games under their belt, that they could develop into a pretty good unit. The big question mark defensively is the secondary, where we'll start, 1 senior and a junior at the corners, and probably a senior and a junior or a couple of juniors at the safety spots. Offensively, the line, we're gonna have some senior guys up on the offensive line. But again, the 2 of them that are returning from last year, Hunter Lejeune was our weak side tackle and Doug Leonard's our weak side guard, are both back, but they're playing different positions. Hunter, we had to switch to tight end, and Doug, we moved to weak side tackle. So everybody up front from tight end to tackle are going to be guys playing for the first time. I think Brian Favis, our quarterback, got to play some when the game was on the line last year. He's a big, tall kid. Joe Falk was a really good runner, made some quality throws, but Joe, felt, he was comfortable when he could run with the ball. Brian, I think, is comfortable when he gets to throw it. So, that'll be something that'll give us a little bit different flavor than maybe what we've had, and we've tried to expand there. Our 4 top receivers are all juniors. None of them obviously started last year, but, we feel good about those guys. Now, the 2 guys back in the backfield, well, there's 3 guys, Justin Guidry and Sam Huffpower, were our kind of fullback type guys that, and Sam can play a lot of positions. People will see Sam catching a lot of passes for us. He's more of an H-back type guy. So, they got to play a lot last year. They're back. Colin Kirsch played quite a bit. And you'll see Colin on defense, some at safety, but he still will play offense. So, it really boils down to how fast we can grow up, or gain experience. Like I said, we have older guys, but they need game experience.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Coach, because are you planning on hopefully getting those guys up to speed in those first 3 games? Because those are not easy out-of-district games. You have at LaGrange, Brobridge, and at Turlings before you get into your district schedule, which, of course, Opelousas is Catholic. You have teams like Catholic High and New Iberia. There are reasons you have to toughen up. Is that what you're hoping you guys can accomplish in those first 3 games out of district?
Yeah, there's no doubt. We've always had that type of schedule at the front part, of the schedule, those types of games. And, we'll learn a lot about our football team real quick. They're going to get get a quick baptism into the fire. So, those are three really outstanding 4A football teams, and they've always been a great challenge for us. And so we know that once those three games, regardless of what happens, are done, then we will have learned a lot about our football team, and if there's where the weaknesses are for sure, and if we're headed in the right direction as far as having the personnel in the right spots.
All right, Coach, I forgot to ask you this when you mentioned Tyler Shelvin. Are you going to let him do any kicking? Because I know he kicked a game-winning field goal last year, and I know he's probably wanting to help the team in any way possible. Is it just going to be D-line for him?
Yeah, well, he's going to play some offense too, short yardage, and and maybe when the game's on the line, he may go in and tackle for a series when we need try to get a push, because obviously he'll be able to do that. But he was out punting with us the other day after practice, and we had a young kicker last year, a freshman kid, John William Lamb, that kicked for us as a freshman, and so if he stays healthy, we won't have to ask Tyler to have to work on that, but he has been kicking it around for us a little bit. I said, keep doing it. You never know when we might need that big club to put on a ball and kick it down the field. So it's amazing for a kid to be that big and get his leg up the way he does. But I guess that's why he's one of the top-rated prospects in the country.
Oh, it's one of the darndest things I've ever seen, seeing him kick the ball.
No doubt.
That's all I'm saying. All right, Coach, last one for you. Actually, I got two more, to be honest, because I don't want to lie to you. This one has to do with your leaders. It usually makes a coach's job easier whenever you have some guys in the locker room that can help bring your message to them in a different way to their teammates. Who are a couple leaders on your team, and did you even have to try to identify them, or did they kind of step up themselves?
Well, Patrick Burley, who, like I said, started middle linebacker for us last year, is kind of he's a very enthusiastic type player already. Plays hard every down. He doesn't have to say a whole lot. You just watch him play, and he'll get you motivated and excited. Justin Guidry, the fullback, started fullback for us last year. Justin's a kid that he's, is very intense and sincere about how he goes about preparing and playing the game. So he's on the offensive side. Patrick, Nick Hanks is a kid at linebacker that, the kids kind of, will gravitate to a little bit. So we've got a few guys in there that, that the kids, I think, can rally around, and they have the ability to rally the guys. So, you're right. It's always nice. And I told the guys, the team last year, the last thing I told them in the hotel after breakfast that morning when we're getting ready to leave for the Dome to get ready to play the game, I said, the only disappointment I'm going to face when this game's over, regardless of the score, is at the fact that we're not going to be on the practice field Monday, because the way that they went about doing their business and led that team, it was fun to go out there every day. And, I can't say that every year. I'll be honest, there's some years where, the season ends and you go, poof, it's kind of time for this family to break up a little bit, We need a divorce or something. But last year was not that. It was one of those where really you miss that group. And this bunch was part of it, and they're trying to do the same things. And so, I think that they'll, as they grow up, they'll be fine.
Oh, Coach Cook of the Notre Dame Pio is our guest. He's got me laughing here on a Tuesday. Coach, last one for you. And I know coaches always like talking about their fans. If you could send a message to your fan base, and I know the Pio fans are always out there. They sea of red whenever you guys were playing in the Dome. If you had a message for the fans, why they should be excited heading into this season, what would it be?
Well, I think they're gonna see good special teams play again. Last year we had those guys that could run those kicks back, and and a lot of it was who was running the ball, but it was also partly because of the execution up front. That's always fun to watch. Get a big punt return or a kickoff return or a big hit on like in the Dome last year when Gary Cormier tackled a punt return guy for Riverside before he could even take a step. And then I think the fact that we're going to be able to put it in the air a little bit more, or we may attempt to put it in the air a little bit more, it'll be exciting to watch. And of course, last year was amazing to stand on the sideline, watch that defense just dominate dominate people, and hopefully we can get close to. That was unusual because that the way they went about doing things, but it'll be fun to watch these guys because the one thing they always know, and when the fans show up, and I think that's why they're there, and we have such good support, is they know that the guys are going to play 100% no matter what it is, and that it hasn't been talent that's got us where we've gotten to. It's been their heart and desire and determination to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And I know these Pios in 2016 will do the same thing.
Coach Lou Cook of the Notre Dame Pios has been our guest. Coach, thank you for the time so much, and good luck in the season, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
One of the nicest coaches around in the entire area. He's been doing it for more than 40 years. He's still just laughing, enjoying himself. I love going to practice or being around them when they warm up, when they stretch, when they play. I like the culture over there that they got going in Crowley. And just another reminder when he's talking about the flooding that said they can't even get to some of their players. They're going to go out into the community. I mean, I've seen the Acadiana football team go and help some flood victims, STM, Karen Crow. Everyone's pitching in any way they can. And that kind of leads me into tonight's mic drop.